from one educator to another, I would like to welcome to the stage now a Lebanese woman with over 25 years of experience in education in the Emirates, the United Kingdom, and Lebanon. Please welcome Director of the Refugees Education Program at Jusur, Ms. Suha Toutounji.
Marhaba. Feel very important sitting here. It's good to see some old faces again and new ones. Thank you for coming. Thank you for inviting me, Spark, and Isam Paris Foundation. I'm going to talk a little bit about what we do, what Jusur does, and how we bridge the gap. It's a little bit different than just graduate studies and scholarship programs. So to start with, Jusur started as a foundation in 2011 in Syria to bridge the gap, actually, and that's why it's called Jusur, bridges in Arabic. So the idea was to connect the Syrians inside Syria with Syrians outside Syria, basically in the UK, in Canada, in the USA, and other countries, so that they could continue their education and get a Western idea of education. And so a mentorship program started in Syria that was run by Syrians abroad to mentor these children, these young adults, and then prepare them so that they could enter universities abroad. After the mentorship program, the students who stood out and who were willing to continue were given scholarships to study abroad and hopefully for them to return back to Syria and give back. But sadly, we all know what happened. The war started in Syria and things changed. The mentorship program was still going on today, but Skype and meetings and people became more difficult to connect. And so Jusur decided to look into other alternatives of bridging the gap. And they sent someone to Lebanon, and they told this young man called Hani, just a wonderful young man, go to Lebanon and see what is needed. He arrived to Lebanon. The public schools were not open yet to Syrians. And so the first thing that struck him was the amount of children on the streets doing nothing, just sitting there and playing or sadly begging on the streets. And he thought, well, we should do something and keep these off the streets. It's safer for them. Safety first, of course. And so Jusur said, fine, let's start something in Lebanon. And they started their education program in Lebanon, which I'm proud to help and to run. We have 3 schools. We are not in any way taking the place of the ministry, not at all. What we do is students who are not in school because of lack of space or many other reasons, they come to us and we help them in remedial education, giving them English, Arabic, math, science, peace education, identity education. And then, of course, once there are spaces in the schools, we send them off to schools and we make sure that they stay in school by giving them also homework support after they join the schools. And so between these 3 schools, we have taught over 4,613 children, and more than 500 of these children are still in school. Now, there are many reasons why they drop out. We're not going to go into that, but we're still going, and we hope to get even more and more of these children enrolled in schools, hopefully. There are many challenges. Some are children labor work, they work, girls who are getting married off easily. The value of education in some of the communities is not a priority, so this is also another challenge. But we do our best to keep them in schools and help them not to drop out, because at the end, these children are going to become, hopefully, educated enough to go back to their country and rebuild it. And this is why we emphasize on the identity program that we give the children. We teach them about the country. We teach them about the importance of Syria culturally. The diversity is a very important part of this program, so that they know that Syria is a diverse country. It has an important background, culture of civilization in the Levant area. And so hopefully they have pride in their country and they would want to go back and rebuild it. And if we don't start somewhere, we will really have a lost generation. So we need to embed these ideas of their identity and the importance of their country and their history, because it's not only war. Syria is not only war. There is a long, important history there. On top of the education program we provide for these young students, we also do counseling with them, with the parents. We have also a very important training program for the teachers. We're working on improving that. We've run many workshops because we're part of the INE, and we run the framework of the INE training program, and we do that training. We've done some in the Emirates, in Gaziantep. We went to visit you several times, in Beirut as well, and in the USA. We've done some with NGOs who are interested in working with refugees. So we did some training on emergency education or emergency in crisis settings. To support these children also, we have another program, is the support the brevet students. And we started that last year. We're continuing it this year and next year. We've supported around 60 students, and hopefully next year we'll support more than 150. So we're raising funds for that. And the idea is, we have noticed that there is a big dropout after brevet. Students tend to leave because they can't continue because of the curriculum, language barriers. Agatha knows, maybe talk about that in her session. And so we want to keep them in school. And the rates of students who are passing the brevet compared to the ones who are passing, the Lebanese who are passing the brevet, is quite low. So last year we had, I think it was 81% brevet passing rate, and it was less than 21% for the Syrians. And it's sad that this is the case. But upon talking to the brevet students, I met with them, spoke to them, to the teachers. It turned out that the main reason was that they weren't getting enough support to continue and not to drop out. So this is why we started the brevet program, where we help the students pass the brevet exams by giving them extra classes and some tricks of the trade. We all know we have to teach for the test, for the brevet, sadly, but we teach them for the test. This is a way to make them pass. And hopefully, if they continue with their baccalaureate, then we told them that we promise to support them and help find scholarships for them if they continue. Another program that we are running, other than a mentorship program, we have a startup program, entrepreneurship program that my colleague Karim spoke about earlier, so I'm not going to go into details of that, but we have been able to support 67 startups and 136 entrepreneurship programs that have been quite successful. 11 of them are running very well and have begun to generate some income for the people who did it. The scholarship program, we have plenty of scholarship programs. We try to fund also for them and help. So the news is the 100 Women Initiative, where we are targeting only Syrian women because there is a big gap there. We send them abroad to universities, hopefully to get an education and come back after mostly they're doing the master's degree, and they come back hopefully to help. We have 11 scholarship programs. Spark also we partner with Spark and with the Hopes as well. But the program 11 has changed a little bit because we noticed that the students who are already at university level can't continue because they cannot pay. So we've changed it a little bit, we've adapted it so that students who are already at university and cannot pay for their tuition, we cover the difference so that they can stay at university and graduate instead of giving them a scholarship from scratch. This is a change in the program. We also have the Shalhoub Scholarship only for graduate students. We have an agreement with the London School of Economics for an MA. We also have the Jusur Amal Foundation in Za'atari camp, where we also help some of the Syrian refugees there. We have started a new fund called the Hardship Fund, and this is kind of like a loan that we give students to be able to continue their education, but they have to pay it back after 2 or 3 years of graduation. So these are all the scholarship programs that we run. We run them with, we have some universities help by paying off like 60%, 70% of the tuition, and we cover the rest, like St. Anthony's in England, Cambridge Scholarship in Cambridge, we cover 1 student. We also have the UWC, by the way, we've just started for the high schools, funds for the high school. We funded around 6 and hope to be able to fund more students. We have affiliations with Brown, Northwestern University, LIU, AUB, AUST, BAU in Lebanon. These are all covered partly by donors and partly by universities who pitch in and pay some of the tuition. And we hope that we will continue, because this is very important to keep the students in universities. And this is why we start with the younger children, 7, 8, 9, so that they stay in school, move to brevet, support the brevet students so they can go to high school. Maybe the next step would be supporting even more high school students, and then hopefully get to college and support them there as well, and hope that they would return back and rebuild their country. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Suha, Toutounji, and thank you, Professor.